Sow seeds of hope wherever you go, though some may fall on the thorny ground. Sow seeds of hope wherever you go, some of the seeds bound to grow, taller than you ever could know. Sow seeds of hope wherever you go, though some may fall on the thorny ground. Sow seeds of hope wherever you go, some of the seeds bound to grow, taller than you ever could know.
Hello everyone, that's Penny Stone's amazing song. Thank you Penny Stone for that song, and I'm here with Leona.
Hello.
Leona Johnson, near her home, and we've done teaching together, and we've done podcasts together, and it's great to be up here with you outside in the spring sunshine for our encouraging conversation for the card deck and the encouraging conversation series. And thank you for being one of the people that encourages me to sing and to be creative. And what would you like to share with people about that, encouraging them to be creative, and how we can overcome those little voices in our heads that maybe say you're not good enough to sing, or you're not good enough to do artwork, or you're not good enough in whatever way that is?
Oh my goodness. I grew up as someone who never sang, never felt that I could sing. I didn't get into the classic story. I didn't get onto the school choir or the school musical because I tried out, and obviously my voice wasn't good enough. I wasn't selected, and I went through life with that story, and all I ever saw, because in our culture we're really dominated by pop culture and people who are really amazing singers, but it's a very different thing to just being yourself and being in a group, in community, singing along, or expressing yourself freely. And I think one of the things that I've learned in recent years, since I've been really trying to deepen into myself and allow myself to be, is that we just have to just allow ourselves to make mistakes, and we have to allow ourselves to explore and try things out and have fun, because if we're not having fun, what's the point? Really?
Yeah, totally. And that's I'm in that phase now of bringing the cards into the world and having fun with artwork. So this is one that I've just started. I brought them out. I'm up north for the diploma gathering and coming to visit Leona, and so I've managed to get some that are printed, some that have got some that are completely blank, some that have artwork already and handwritten. So there's and some that are both pictures printed and text. So they're all in different stages of process, but there's a process that's happening with me in terms of bringing my artwork, having that sort of balance of enjoying the process and trying to ignore the little gremlins that are going, oh, how is this? Someone else could do this better than you, or why don't you, or whatever those voices are. And there are similar voices to when I sing as well, and that remembering, there's also a bigger voice that's luckily bigger, that says to me what I do is unique, what I do is important and needed in the world, and that contribution is there, and that other people, there's room for everyone's voices. I think that's, whether that's in terms of books or in terms of artwork or in terms of singing as well, we need all the voices. In terms of teaching, there's so many ways in which we can be comparing each other or comparing ourselves to other people, like someone else has more experience, they could teach better than me, or their artwork is better, or their singing voice is better. But actually it's the collective voice, so it's embodied within the community singing world, that actually it's the collective voice that is more powerful than the individual voices.
It's also the culture of allowance, knowing that 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 we're allowed to be as we are is a really important part of people being able to take steps out to try things, and welcoming all the parts of ourselves. Sometimes I see, obviously I feel like there's more parts to me than this, but there's the inner critic and then there's the inner mentor.
Yeah.
So the inner critic is really not trying to destroy your life or make you be small, but are really trying to protect you. That voice is sometimes just there to try and help you go, hey, don't make a fool of yourself,
Right.
and to support you in not being too much and not taking over when you might. But what we learn to do more whenever we become more connected to ourselves is listen to what I would call my inner mentor, which is sometimes I see myself, my inner mentor is like me in 40 years time, someone who's done all the work and who recognises and doesn't care anymore what people think, and can talk to me now and go, it's all right, you're okay. And you can talk to the inner critic and go, thank you for trying to help me, but I don't need you to tell me that I can't do this right now. I'm going to go for it and it's okay.
Yeah.
And I really love those sort of inner dialogues when you bring them into the conscious mind, because it allows us to then sort of be aware and give things a go and be creative and allow ourselves to try things out and see what emerges.
Yeah, absolutely. So, been playing with the cards, Leona, with people, and asking people to ask a question of the cards, because that's actually something I'm finding fascinating and emerging through doing this Kickstarter. Is like, get the cards out and use them with people. I'm really fascinated what questions people ask and then how that's interpreted. So we're going to go for the full deck here, which some of them are blank, so we'll see what surprises we get here. Some of them have text on, some of them have drawings on, so we're we'll see what happens live in the moment. What question do you have?
Well, I've been thinking, we're at the stage where we are wanting to call in the people for the year-long programme that we're going to be running this year, A CEED of PEACE, and for the Peace course and the ACE course, and the different parts as well that people can join if they don't want to, and aren't able to do the full year round. But particularly with this year-long process, I'd like to ask the cards, what is it that the people who are curious about coming to enter into a year-long deep process of discovery and learning, and in a safe space where they can explore their emergent selves alongside others who are doing that, what do they need to hear? What do they need to hear from the cards now, or what wisdom can come from these cards that we can share? So.
Okay, you've got an abundance here to choose from. So feeling into that question, and I think I'll pick a card as well, because it's a mutual adventure that we're on here together for the Seed of Peace, and calling in people for this journey together.
Which one? I love this. So,
Okay, you pick and don't tell me, and then I'll pick one as well. So I hear the giggle. So I'm thinking of the Seed of Peace, and how do we invite people into the course? Interesting. Which one have you got?
So I have got growing in effectiveness.
Yeah.
Which, I just think that's amazing. By being clear on what we are trying to do, and then utilising our time, energy and resources, our designs and work in the world can have maximum effect. Our capacity increases as we become more and more effective. So what an amazing card. That's absolutely, if I was thinking about how I can be more effective in my life, how I could be, what is the next step that I need to do to deepen into being the best version of myself, and I was thinking about A CEED of PEACE, and then this card came out. Well, just says it all, doesn't it? It's that process that is going to allow a whole group together to create that safe space over a period of time, which has given us time to embed the teachings, the learnings, the wisdom and the experience together. So what did you get?
Well, two came out actually. The first is this one, which is one of the 7 ways to think differently, and it's the frog leaping into action, and it's from thinking to doing. So that's maybe both for ourselves as the team. What have we been thinking about, and what are the actions we need to take, which fits really nicely with growing in effectiveness. But also then, how do we encourage other people to move from that, oh, I'm thinking about doing that program, to yes, coming on the course. So yeah, we'll take this into our planning. And then this other one, which is blank, but it's leveling privilege. And yeah, gratitude is a gateway to acknowledging privilege. Each person has their own combination of privileges and lacks, which are all influenced by the micro cultures that they are part of. And becoming aware of privilege is the first step to a more just culture. Then we need to take responsibility to find ways to balance and level privilege. And it's curious because you picked that card last night as well. We were both like, okay, so we're taking this into our thinking, and how can we do that, and how can we make it more accessible while meeting our needs as well, and how do we invite a more diverse group of people into the training, because I think there's so many different people that could value from it. How do we do that? So
yeah, emergence, isn't it? We're at a stage where we're recognizing that we all come from different places is really, rich, brings richness into our learnings and understanding that helps us to have a more emergent culture and a way of living alongside each other collaboratively and creatively, drawing on people's experience. So yeah, I look forward to thinking more about that.
yeah, so we're using these cards this weekend to do more planning around the Seed of Peace training, and we'll the year-long program, and we'll keep you up to date and do more singing as well. And yeah, just wanted to know before we end with the song again, but just are there any more thoughts you have about how we create this field of encouragement, which we'll do on the Seed of Peace, but more generally in our lives, and how that can support us?
For me, it's been about being really intentional when I create space, and that can be when I'm just with a friend who's, we're in the car together, or it can be
the train going past
with my children, or how I am is being really aware of what I'm wanting to get out of this conversation, or what I'm wanting to get out of this situation, and knowing that it's not all about me, but in really generally my intention is about connection, and it's also about creating safety and being able to listen, and also supporting other people in having space to share what they need to share. So I've got much better actually at saying, so what's going well, what's challenging, and what are you grateful for? And people go, what?
Yeah.
But now, friends of mine who mightn't be necessarily, used to being in circle or workshops or these kind of things, just expect it from me and actually bring it, mirror it to me, and I know that they bring it into their own workplaces and the way they are, and it took me, I had to be brave to do that in the first place, because, those 3 questions have actually changed the way that my business, Live Wild, runs. It has changed the way that I interact with my family and my children and everybody, because, when you ask somebody what's going well, what's challenging, and what are they grateful for, it cuts out the small talk. It really brings to light the things that are, that we need to celebrate and acknowledge, and helps people to see what's going well, which is something we need to do more of. And then when you're asking, what's challenging, you're not pushing away the negative or the struggle. You're allowing space for it, and you're helping people to be their authentic selves. And then going back to gratitude, which, what we know now about the research around gratitude is that no matter and from my experience actually, when I was at a refugee camp in Greece, I remember, being with people who'd lost everything, and they were able to tell me about their experiences of what they'd lost, and then just launch into what they're grateful for, the great gratitude for being alive, and gratitude that they were with their family, and gratitude that they had, the earth beneath their feet, and that they'd already, made connection to the birds that on the other side of the tents. And it was really powerful for me, actually, seeing the power of gratitude in the everyday for people who were really, really experiencing challenge in a way that I never have. So yeah, I love gratitude.
Well, we use the same two questions, but with a permaculture diploma, and that's been a really transformative process for me. But then the third and fourth question, the third question is, what are your long-term goals and visions? And then what are your next achievable steps? And we did this on the car on the way up with my friend Thomas, of just then relating to ourselves as diploma tutors. But you could say, what's going well for me as a parent, or whatever's happening in your life. And I love over the process of using those 4 questions and that long-term goals and visions, and then seeing when you keep saying something out loud of like, yeah, that's my long-term goals and visions, then thinking, well, actually, can I move some of that to a next achievable step? And that could be really small, like, I want to write a book on people care. Okay, my next achievable steps, I'm going to get a notebook. That's like literally, you break it down into that tiny bits. And then what's going well? Oh, I got a notebook and I've actually written a title in there or something, so then you move things forward. And that process there has been the process that's actually got me to write to people, and to become a permaculture teacher, to write people in permaculture, to get my own land centre, to create the card decks. It's like, okay, actually, after a while I get a bit bored of hearing myself saying it as a long-term goal vision, and think I need to actually get on and commit to doing this if I want to make it happen. That's what happened when we were with myself and my partner, for wanting a land to tend and to run courses. And it was like, okay, if we keep on saying this, let's make a commitment to making it happen. And then we did a design around that furthered that commitment. But when I first did it after my permaculture design course, and we were invited to the unboundary dreaming of just say what you want to happen, not what you believe will happen, or not what you're strategically trying to make happen, but just what you'd love to happen. And I was just like, I've had so much fun on this permaculture design course. Wouldn't it be fun if I became a permaculture teacher? And I didn't say it with any intention then, but the universe heard and went, you could do this and you could do that, and opened up pathways to make that happen. And that, now when I say it, I'm a little bit more, maybe a little bit more intentional, but still with that idea of not closing myself down to what I think would happen, but what I want to do. So yeah, well, should we close this conversation? Should we just sing the song to close out?
Yes, let's do that.
Sow seeds of hope wherever you go, though some may fall on the thorny ground. Sow seeds of hope wherever you go, some of the seeds bound to grow, taller than you ever could know. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you feel encouraged by this conversation to sing, to be creative, and to follow your dreams and share your long-term goals and visions, and create encouraging conversations with others. Thank you, Leona.
It's been a pleasure. I love encouraging and talking about encouragement. So yeah.